Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the FPL Affairs podcast, the podcast that strips back to lay bare our season-long love affair with FPL. Now, you can't have an Arsenal fan and a Newcastle fan hosting and not reflect on Arsenal's victory at the weekend. In the second of our Game Week 6 review Unwrapped videos, we discussed key talking points from the match, do we agree? And if any players passed the eye test for our FPL teams. Before we get started, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for all of our content, and if you hit the bell for the notifications when we release something new. Anyway, enough of my small talk. Let's get cracking.
And there's Mo Salah. There goes Haaland. He's on his way again. He's hungry. He's scored. Ice cold precision from Palmer. Oh, Saka! That is a diamond of a goal.
What we will finish with is, and we're doing this one because you can't, after the talking points in itself, having this review with an Arsenal fan and a Newcastle fan and not discuss the match would be criminal. I did, and also somebody commented in the group, I think it was on one of your posts maybe, and they asked to pick your brain about Arsenal assets to select going forward. And I said, oh, we're discussing this tonight. I tried to sort of lay the seed in to try to get an extra viewer. And it seemed to work because it was like, oh, how do I watch? So I laid it in.
Yeah.
We will move on to Newcastle and Arsenal assets in a bit, but we have to go through the main talking points of the game, surely, starting with the early Arsenal given penalty that wasn't your call first.
Yeah, so what I would say is I think Arsenal started the game really brightly. So we looked confident. It's a tough place for us historically, we know that. But we started brightly, as you know, tried to attack. That penalty decision. So in real time, Gyökeres is one of those typical ones. The striker nips him first, touches it away from the keeper. Keeper comes out, wipes him out. He gave himself I don't know if you watched it. So he waited a few seconds and then he gave himself some time and he blew and gave the. And I'm thinking, right, Stonewall. See the replay. Pope comes out, completely wipes Gyökeres out. Gyökeres got the touch first. I'm thinking there's absolutely no way on earth this is even being looked at. And then you hear that it's been looked at, and if you slow it right down, Pope, it scrapes. The ball scrapes Pope's right toe before he then continues with his left knee to completely wipe Gyökeres out. So my argument is that you can absolutely touch the ball, but you can still foul the player. It's a no. You it happen on outside the box all the time. Players will so-called get the ball, but if you follow through, if you take the player out, if you're too high, that's just a foul for me. And I would also say if that were the other way around, if that would have been Voltemade going around Raya, I would have.
Oh, Lewis is frozen in time now.
That from the heart.
I'm hoping we're back regularly.
Yeah, so what I would say after that penalty decision, Newcastle then came on really strong and they had us backed in for a while. The goal that you scored was a good goal, but it wasn't a foul on Gabriel at all. It was a great jump from Voltemade. It was a good corner, good header, and it was looking like a tough day for us again. But fair play to Arsenal. Go on.
I was just going to say in the on Sky Sports they do that like ref watch and they get on a former pro player and Dermot Gallagher to talk through any main like either VAR decisions or controversial decisions.
Okay, I haven't seen what they said about this, so yeah.
They played it. The centre forward, I'm not sure who it was. They were still in their head adamant it was a penalty. Dermot O'Leary said that in real time he would have given the penalty 100% like the referee did, like you
Yeah,
said like pretty much every single person that was watching it at the time thought, oh, penalty,
yeah,
which I did. I thought it
yeah,
was penalty. Then
yeah.
after the reviewing, and
Hmm.
Dermot Gallagher said that um, the big point, he said, yes, as slight as the touch is, Pope did touch the ball before he touched Gyökeres. But what
Yeah.
the main thing he said was what from his point of view, it wasn't a penalty because of what Nick Pope did. That Nick Pope um, closed the player down and the ball, then he stopped, planted
Mm,
his right foot down. The ball
mm.
went from Gyökeres, clipped Nick Pope's toe to divert it. Then Gyökeres went into Nick Pope rather than it the other way around. So
Okay.
Pope didn't follow through. Pope had grounded his foot. This is what Dermot
Yeah, no, I see that argument. I do. But what I would also say, which is key here, is that Gyökeres touches the ball first. So it wasn't like Gyökeres was running through onto a long ball and Pope touched it, and then
Mm,
Gyökeres actually took the touch away from Pope. So what happens is Gyökeres takes it away from Pope. Pope does plant his foot, granted, but it's the next part of it, because if Pope then doesn't with his left knee wipe out Gyökeres, he runs onto that ball and puts it in an open net. So I could see why he would say, look, Pope's planted his foot and da da da. But the reality is, Gyökeres knocked it round him. Pope scrapes it with his toe and with his left knee comes through and completely wipes. What went against Gyökeres, in my opinion, is the fact that he made a bit of a meal out of it. He flicked his head up and did the whole Tom Daly, Mo Salah dive. And
mm.
that for me almost made it look worse, because I think if he just goes down naturally, it's a foul. It was a foul anyway. It should have been a penalty. We can argue till the cows come home, but yeah,
I just thought it was interesting and glad I saw what Dermot Gallagher said because
yeah,
sometimes that what's mentioned by commentators they don't necessarily mention it.
okay,
The for you though, and trying to remain impartial, the moments after the goal. Well,
yeah,
you were saying before I brought us back to the penalty about Voltemada's jump and the one-handed nudge on Gabriel and Gabriel falling down.
yeah.
Foul,
Yeah,
no foul.
embarrassing. No foul. He drops. In the moment, I was annoyed because we'd just not been given a penalty. I didn't say for 1 minute, oh, it's a foul, it shouldn't be allowed. But I was thinking, or at least do a VAR check or something. But we watched the replay. He's a big, strong bloke. He should not be flopping down that easily.
It's
Um,
ridiculous how footballers do that these days.
yeah,
Um,
I think they just feel. I think if they feel a hand in their back, sometimes they then just flop to the ground and think that's going to be enough. But the reality is, they're big, strong men, and if it's not enough to push you down, then you should stay on your feet.
yeah, I think, and the moving on to the next talking point of shortly after the goal, there was the incident between Gabriel and
Yeah,
Voltemada where Gabriel, this being off the ball, went into him, one fist clenched, the other hand,
calm. Yeah,
um, palm, and his fist supposedly made contact with Voltemada's um, head from the
yeah.
still. And Voltemada said from the when he was interviewed
Mm.
that because nothing materialized from it, um, whether it may have been different had he have actually gone down and rolled around and held his face and so forth,
Yeah,
like a load of players do,
he-
whether
he's
that would
he's
have.
he's got a point. He's got a point, because if he's down on the floor holding his face, they have no choice but to look at it, do they? VA, or what's happened here straight away. The guy in the VAR room's looking at footage, and the refs. The fact that Voltemade, but like he said, I did see a clip of it. He said, "Look, I'm not one of those guys that will just,
Mm,
Europeans aren't. That's more of a South, not to be judgmental, but like the South Americans are quite bad for that, aren't they? And
mm,
to be fair, a lot of the Spanish players are quite bad for that. But you don't really get it with the Germans, do you?
no,
They're not built like that, are they?
no.
They. So yeah, he was just like, look, I'm not going to be one of those guys that pretends I'm hurt, but effectively, maybe to benefit his team, he should have flopped to the floor in that moment. But I have to say to him, I give him all the credit in the world for staying on his feet, and perhaps he felt that if he went over and told the referee what happened, that would be enough for him to look at it. Obviously,
Mm,
that didn't end up. Or maybe VAR should just see if VAR has seen that anyway. That's when they should just zone,
mm,
call into the ref and say, look, there's been an incident. He's raised his hands. That's violent conduct. Go and have a look at it. So yeah, he could have definitely walked for that. Yeah.
mm. But overall,
Hmm.
going forward, because Arsenal have got their top of the fixture ticker now for the next what
Five,
five,
six.
6 game weeks,
Yep.
and lots of people who wildcarded just went straight triple Arsenal, with
Yep.
the template being Raya, Gabriel, and Gyökeres.
Yep.
I sent you a message last week about because I also looked at a draft of instead of Richarlison, which I put in, or considering Gyökeres to the practicalities of possibly doing Isak and Saka.
Yep.
Um, and then watching the game at the weekend, Rice had his performance, and from an eye though, Eze was very good.
Good. Mm,
So it therefore puts his when I take Foden out, it's
mm,
his name's been thrown in the ring, and it's that it was him or Saka, which was what somebody commented on your post in the group earlier.
yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on Arsenal assets? Um,
Yeah. So what it's going to come down to is what type of FPL manager you are. So are you going to be a manager that's worried about seeing a player you've picked being on the bench? Because if you pick an Eze or, well, pretty much just
Martinelli,
Eze, just, yeah, Martin, for this conversation, Eze is going to be the one people are looking at. He will probably start 4 out of 5 games, maybe three. So if you're all right with that, go for Eze. If you want someone that's going to, the way it's the timing of it, I mean, Saka would have equally been a risk, but because Madueke has picked up his injury just as Saka's come back in, his minutes are looking pretty secure for the next 5 or 6. So
mm,
if I was going for a midfielder this week, I would go Saka over Eze. Um, my current situation is that I have Saliba, Rice, and Gyökeres, but I haven't wildcarded yet. And when I do, I'm going to end up with not many people have Rice, and I understand why. He's not your typical FPL, maverick, is he? He's not like a. But actually, if you look at his numbers over a season, he ticks over. He
mm.
will with. Last year, I was tempted by him, but when they announced the DEFCONs thing this year, I was like, right, he is locking my team. He won't be that expensive. He'll play
He was one of the first in my initial drafts.
draft. Yeah,
I
good.
was just
Yeah,
like,
so
right,
yeah,
defensive-ish midfield number 8, but attacking as
who picks
well,
up
with
goals
set
and assists?
pieces
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. And then it was only when some of the content creators did the digging and the stats and said that, well, actually, many people are picking him up for the belief that
Mm,
he'd get DEFCON, but actually last season he wouldn't have got it many
right.
times.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that's right. I mean, yeah, but when you think Rice, you think winning the ball back, winning tackles, don't you? You think he's
yeah,
one of them. I mean, that run back he made against Murphy yesterday was incredible. Like Murphy's rapid, and Rice tracked him all the way back, got the block in, and he was doing that in the 95th minute. So he's fit as a butcher's dog. He
yeah, he
he's
was.
just
Murphy was just ahead of him, but then he was close enough that Murphy knew that if he shot, it's
yeah,
Rice would have blocked it. So
yeah. So he
Murphy
then
then
checked
had
back,
to
didn't he?
check back to go on his left, by which point Rice has gone past, but been able to stay on his feet that he could
Yeah, blocked that
pivot.
angle. Yeah, yeah. And but yeah, and it's funny because to this day you won't see any content creators talking about Rice, and if they're ever asked about him, they just say he's not, not that he's a bad pick, but also that there's a lot more. And I get it. Would you rather go for an Ndai who's on penalties? Would you rather go for Enzo
Enzo
who's now on penalties?
Fernandez.
Yeah, all these guys. But for me, because he's got that, the fact that we are so good at corners, and he is on. I know, granted, he doesn't take them from both sides, but he takes them from one side, and we get 10, 15 corners a game. He is constantly swinging in, attacking.
Mm.
He basically shoots from them corners. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if one went straight in at some point. He will be on direct free kicks as well, since the Real Madrid stuff.
Yeah.
He's cheap. But I, I'm obviously slightly biased as an Arsenal fan, and he's probably my favourite Arsenal player as well. So comes into it, but I won't be selling him all season. So my triple Arsenal triple up and wild card will be Raya in goal. Just because I think centre backs might get rotated at some point. Gabriel is great, and I understand why everyone's picking him. He's a DEFCON monster. He scores headers. Don't be surprised if Gabriel is the same. That's the same we've seen with Saliba. Now that we've got Hincapié, now we've got Calafiori, now we've got all these options at the back. Do not be surprised if Gabriel suddenly misses a game somewhere, off the back of
Mm.
an international break or after a Champions League game or something. He might well get a rest here or there. With that in mind, Raya for me plays every Arsenal game in the league if he's not injured. So
Mm.
if I go for the Arsenal defender, my one Arsenal defender will be Raya, and I don't have to worry, which I would do with any other Arsenal defender. I don't have to worry that he won't be in the team. So my Arsenal triple up: Raya, Rice, and I'm going to stick with Gyökeres because I think he'll get quite a few goals this season.
Okay. That is the
What have you got Arsenal wise?
well. Um, I decided against the double up and made the saving of 500,000.
Yeah,
And I got the funds and had the idea planned to do Richarlison to Gyökeres this week in advance of the West Ham game. Got the
yeah.
funds for it, so I can do it straight. Um, so that still go ahead with it. What do you think? Would you recommend? Because
So
he did have some chances,
so you're going to bring in Gyökeres this week for West Ham? Yeah.
probably.
That's the plan. I would 100% go with that. I obviously keep an eye on our Champions League game on Wednesday, see how many
Mm.
minutes he plays. We're playing.
He's not on an expected instant
Okay, yeah.
rapid
So
price rise.
he
So as long as that can hold off for till the Champions
couple of
League game,
days. Yeah,
are you
yeah.
Tuesday night or Wednesday night?
We are Wednesday night. Um, yeah, we're definitely Wednesday night, and then we're playing Saturday again. I think he might get reduced minutes as well. But yeah, he won't go up in price because he blanked at the weekend. Obviously, FPL managers are very reactionary. So had he scored against Newcastle, he'd be looking at a price rise this week. The fact he didn't, I don't think he'll go up. But yeah, I would absolutely still go with him. He's going to be a talisman. He's going to be on penalties. He's going to get chances. It's just whether you then want to triple up and go with a Saka or an Eze.
Because
Um,
I've got the transfer because I got two free transfers since I now they roll them over. So
oh, okay, so you kept those, yeah,
I could
yeah,
theoretically one I was
triple up.
planning on doing Gyökeres. I could theoretically fund dependent actually use the other one on another Arsenal player. So to go from a
Could
single,
you afford Saka or not?
um,
That would be
well,
quite tight, I
let
think.
mental mental maths. Richarlison, I got for 6.7. He's gone
Yeah,
up to 6.8, but that makes no difference to selling price.
yeah,
Gyökeres is 9, so
yeah.
I need what 2.3 there. I've got I think 3.6 in the bank. Foden's 8.1.
Saka's
Yeah,
what?
I'd be just short. I wouldn't be able to do Foden up to Saka.
Saka.
I'd have to
Oh,
take it. I'd have to take a hit to do that.
that's
But
unfortunate
then
because that
I'd be able to do. I could either stick with Foden
yeah.
and just go double Arsenal, or I could get a, do instead of doing Van der Ven the planned Van der Ven to Anderson in a couple of weeks, instead do say Van der Ven to Timber, and then I've got a triple up of Gyökeres, Gabriel, and Timber.
I would
Um,
definitely look to triple up on Arsenal. I know West Ham looks a little bit better tonight, but they're going to be camped in against us, and we'd probably win by 2 or 3 goals. I think that game. If I was in your position, I'd be absolutely looking at an Arsenal triple up, especially as you've got the free transfers. It's a shame you haven't got the money quite to get to Saka and Gyökeres, which would be the dream combo.
mm,
But I would 100% look at I mean, I would obviously go Rice, but that's quite a niche pick for most people. Um, you could definitely look at an Eze. Um, he's going to feature a lot over whether he starts off the left or whether he starts in the 10. Obviously, Odegaard's back now, which will have an impact. But we almost look better with Eze starting in the 10. Um, he's going to get minutes. Trossard
A lot
was
more,
disappointed.
a lot more front foot than Odegaard, isn't he? Eze.
Yeah, so me and my brother were saying this, so he takes the ball on the half turn on the edge of the box, but whereas Odegaard will then he's very much just like reset, so he does the same thing. He'll turn, cut inside, and he's played to Saka, get it back, turn, cut, and then eventually when he runs out of room, he tries to think one over, and it just gets cut out. Whereas Eze, the second he gets the ball on the half turn, he's looking to shoot or he's looking to.
High
He's a lot
tempo.
more, yeah, high tempo, direct, and Odegaard, yeah, and he mixes the levels up of one, he'll slow it down, speed it up. Odegaard's just he's quick and he's good, but he seems to be at one pace at times.
Mm.
And Eze has given us the extra little spark. So if you want an exciting pick for the next 5 to 6 game weeks, and you can afford to get there for free in 2 moves, I love a Gyökeres and Eze double up next week for you.
It'll think it was another reason why I sort of went with Caicedo as my fifth midfielder because I thought, well,
Mm,
um, for one reason or another, but that's going off the point, and we've been uh,
yeah,
unsurprisingly in a way speaking longer about Arsenal Newcastle than we'd intended
anything.
to. Um, so I
Okay.
will have to get my thinking cap on who to do. So where you can find us on Gmail, email, lowercase, FPL affairs, straight, no characters or anything, just all lowercase at gmail.com. X, you will find us handle / capitals FPL, then affairs, latter part lowercase, but no characters in that either. Facebook group, you'll find it in our YouTube um, channel description, the link to it, or just search FPL affairs in the group section in Facebook itself. We should pop up, fingers crossed, quite easily enough. YouTube channel, make sure if you're searching us on YouTube, you do include the @ symbol before FPL Affairs, otherwise we don't necessarily come up straight away at the top. And Spotify, the link is there, as are the league codes that if you're still looking for league codes to join mini leagues, then we're there. So, final thoughts for wrapping up game week 6.
Yeah, good one. I think it was my best ever triple captain score. I haven't actually been playing FPL for like as long as most people. I've been playing like maybe like 6, 7 years now, so like a while, but not as much as some people. How many years have you been playing?
I totaled up. This is, I
Oh,
think, season 15. There've
okay,
been
but you
there've
didn't
been
play
the
for.
odd seasons. There've been the odd seasons which I've missed and haven't done.
Yeah,
But I only really actually started taking it seriously
yeah,
and remembering there even
every
was a
week.
side.
Yeah,
Um,
every week kind of thing. Yeah,
this is, I think, season 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of that.
yeah. So we've both been playing seriously for about the same amount of time, which is fair enough. And that's definitely my best triple captain in the 6 years that I've been playing. So
The only one that stands out of mine that I can remember is about 2, maybe 3 years ago. Manchester United had a double at Old Trafford.
yeah,
Um, Fulham was one of them, and
yeah,
I can't remember the other, but it was at a point where Rashford was in a purple patch.
yeah.
So I triple captained him, and fair enough, it was a double game week rather than a single, but
Did he smash it?
I got 60 points from it.
Yeah, nice.
Um, that's the most standout one. I think, oh yeah, last season I triple captained Isak in 30 game week 32 or 33 when Newcastle had a double and he got 11, so 33 points from it. But I mean that was a
Yeah,
double game week, so it wasn't sensational.
yeah. But no, yeah, definitely happy with this game week and long may the green arrows continue.
Not worried about the new manager bounce for West Ham against you guys next week.
Nah, they'll sit in and make it difficult, but we've now got those players like Eze that West Ham actually I remember that West Ham beat us at home last year. They might have even beaten us away as well. But yeah, they are a bit of a bogey team for us, but I can't see them causing us any problems next week, but we shall see.
Mm. Alrighty, well, thank you for joining me, and thank you everyone for putting up with our elongated Arsenal Newcastle chat, but hopefully the constructive latter end of it in relation to Arsenal assets going forward, that are sort of alternatives to what will be the template trio. But all that's left to say is thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to this video and the channel for all of our content and upcoming content. And really, I think that just leaves me left to say keep your FPL affairs under wraps until Friday's deadline this week, I believe.
Yeah.
So it is goodbye from me.